my friend from South Carolina for yielding time. And Mr. Speaker, I just want to, or Madam Speaker, I apologize, Madam Speaker, I want us to take a moment and reflect tonight, reflect where our country's been and where our country's going. You know, I think about my grandparents who grew up in a home that didn't even have electricity, didn't have running water, and even my parents were young when they got electricity in their home. Madam Speaker, it was just 150 years ago when the main source of energy in this country was wood fuel. We have come a long ways in this country. We've seen a better way of life. We've seen nicer things because of the technology and innovation that we've had in this country. And our energy policy should be the same energy policy that got us to where we are today, because we've got a bright future ahead. And that energy policy is simply to provide the cleanest energy possible for the lowest cost possible. We shouldn't discriminate against energy sources. Energy is energy. It's carbon atoms. It's hydrogen. It's the energy that we have that we convert to things like electrical energy. And just because one energy is viewed as dirtier than another energy doesn't mean that someday that energy can't be clean energy. If we look at recent developments, it wasn't long ago that natural gas was an expensive form of energy. It wasn't in abundant supply, but through technology, we've been able to release vast amounts of natural gas across our country. Matter of fact, we're seeing a lot of coal plants converted to natural gas, not because of regulatory requirements, but because of economic benefits of burning natural gas, clean natural gas, that we know the control technologies to get very high combustion rates, and also the ability to capture the NOx or nitrous oxides that are released from burning natural gas. It wasn't that long ago that we didn't think we had enough natural gas, but because of great technology, we can experience an environment here in the United States where our carbon emissions are actually dropping. And we shouldn't punish one energy source over another energy source, but we should strive to use technology to make energy as low cost and as clean as possible. And we can do this, whether it's renewables, solar, wind, biomass. All of those are valid sources of energy that we can hopefully learn how to capture it, to distribute it in a manner that people can enjoy it all across the country, and in a way that gives consumers reliable supplies at a low cost. With this, we will see our economy continue to grow. We will see our quality of life improve. And it's really not something that should be partisan or that we should argue about, simply to provide clean energy at a low cost. Let's look at transportation fuels. Some are in favor of doing away with all fossil fuels in transportation. So what would that do to our environment? If we look at global emissions across the world, the United States is responsible for 15% of carbon emissions throughout the world. So if we looked at that a little bit closer and break it down on transportation fuels account for 27% of carbon emissions in the United States. So 27% of 15% is only about 4%. So if we did away with all gasoline, all diesel fuels, got rid of all combustion engines, if we did away with jet fuel, with ships, if we took fossil fuels out of every form of transportation in the United States, it would wreak havoc on our economy, it would wreak havoc on our way of life, and it would only reduce global carbon emissions by around 4%. There's a better, smarter way to do that. Let's take the abundant energy that we have, let's apply our wonderful research facilities, the great minds and innovators that we have in America. We can figure out how to use all of our energy sources in a low-cost, clean way, and we can all continue to experience a brighter future ahead. I want to thank my colleague for hosting this this time tonight where we can hopefully get some of the common sense and the facts about energy out on the table. And just remember, low cost and as clean as possible. And that's a winning formula for American energy. I yield back.
And I thank the gentleman from Arkansas. And